ladies and gentlemen, to the grand reopening of Kathy's Happy Organs and Pianos, store number 7. Now, you know, if it's not like it's a chain of organ stores, it's just that they keep moving me around. They don't move me around, they tell me where to go. And I move, all right. Okay, there's Mrs. Park. She's our new neighbor, and she gave us this beautiful orchids. Hello, Virginia, come on in, but sign in, Virginia, you gotta sign in. Okay. You can sign in too, Mrs. Park, and you might win a prize too. Okay, also, I'd like to introduce George, and everybody should know George. George is running around taking pictures. And he's responsible, George and Cheryl are responsible for a lot of this, and of course we have a lot of people who help too. There's Tom and Kai and Matt, and let's see who's going down here that let's see who else was shoving and lifting and hauling.
Back there.
Oh, Pat back there, okay, and Keith. Pat and Keith, yeah, and I mean, there was a lot of people lifting and hauling. They're probably all wounded now, but they're here ready for. Oh yeah, and of course Elise and Marie. They were lifting and hauling. They were the small items, right? Okay, and of course, Christine was lifting and hauling. She was lifting and hauling some heavier items, you know. Okay, so we're ready to start. Now we were trying to figure out how many times Rodney's come here. Okay, and for those that heard his last year's concert, this is all new songs, except I guess we're going to do.
Except for the old ones.
Yeah, except for, that's right, all new songs except for the old ones, new jokes, so. And if you, if you saw, you know, last year, there was community access was taking pictures of, and video. Well, they finally finished, and that's supposed to be out.
I think it's already out.
Already out, George, or is it tomorrow?
I believe it's supposed to be already out.
Okay, so if you have Comcast or Spectrum or something, cable TV, you might see us from last year. It's beautiful. So you can redo the concert. And so, okay, but we were figuring out, I don't know. I thought it was like the 4th time, and he said, no, it's maybe the 10th time. Well, time passes when you're having fun, you know. In fact, I just put something on Facebook that, I remember, you know, 1979, and all of a sudden it's 50 years ago, you know. It's a long time. Actually, I started in the music business in 79, so it's 45, 46, that's a long time. Anyhow, Rodney, for those, I know that if most of you have seen or heard Rodney's before. Oh, here comes Kay, she helped too, moving. Rodney is a worldwide classical organist. I call him the Victor Borge of the organ. And for people who don't know about Victor Borge, he played the piano real well. All right. In fact, the thing with Victor Borge, I saw an old movie on television where Victor Borge was the lead man and Frank Sinatra was he was the buddy.
Oh my goodness.
So that must have been, it was an old movie. It was an old movie. Anyhow, Rodney used to play for the Reds, and that's why, of course. And everybody will get out in time to catch the Reds because there's been they're playing at 4:30. Okay. So without further ado, Rodney Barbour.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay.
We're good there. That's, yeah.
Okay.
Well, as Kathy said, time flies when you're having fun, unless you're a frog. Then time is fun when you're having flies. See, there's a new joke already. I have to tell you, I apologize for my voice. Sherry and I were out mowing the lawn, and we have these spring allergies, and they reappeared. And so I have been taking chlorotrimeton cocktails, just pouring it over ice and sipping it like a cocktail, and rubbing it in my eyes. So I sound a little raspy. But I was going to open with Cole Porter's Another Opening, and I had written special words: another opening, another store. There's pianos and organs on the floor. If you come to Kathy's, you'll have fun galore. Another opening, another store. But I can't really sing that, but we'll dedicate that to her. Okay. Let's start with a little fanfare. That's not it. Thank you very much. Well, the gang is all here. Thank you all for being here today. We'll have a bunch of fun here, I think, for the next hour or so. How many of you all actually were able to go to the opening day for the Reds this year? Anyone here actually at opening day? I'll tell you what, you didn't miss anything, and it was a real tragedy that opening day this year, because after the opening day, they cannot sell any more beer, period, at Great American Ballpark the rest of the year. It's because they lost their opener. Okay, I have to tell you before we go ahead about a famous pitcher that the Reds was a nemesis to the Reds, and his name was Milt Famey. I don't know if any of you ever heard of him. He's probably about 30 years ago. Milt Famey was the pitcher, and he was so good he never threw any balls. He always threw strikes. He never walked anybody. It was the last game of a series. The Reds needed to win this game, and they knew that if Milt Famey pitched, that they would lose the game. So they, what can we do? What can we do? So they snuck into the locker room and found his water cooler and replaced Milt Famey's water cooler with this really strong beer. So strong that even one drink would make you totally inebriated. Well, he didn't know they'd done this, and so he got out there and pitched, and then he took a drink of that, and he just went crazy. He threw ball after ball after ball. He walked about 20 people before they took him out, and the Reds scored enough to win that game. And this beer they used became very, very well known and famous. Became known as the beer that made Milt Famey walk us. See, you don't even have to pay for this. This is just part of the deal here. Okay, kind of what I like to do is kind of take us through a ball game. So we are going to do that just a little bit differently, but we are going to go inning by inning. So we're getting ready to start the game. The gang's all here. We played the beer barrel polka. We got people in. We made all the announcements. It's time for the Star Spangled Banner. So if you'd like to stand and sing that if you're able. If not, remain seated, and we'll then continue. Okay, you can have a seat, and while you're doing that, just like the fans having a seat, and what would happen now, we would have all the last minute preparations before the players of the other team come out to bat. The Reds are on the field, they're still kind of warming up, the umpire's dusting off the plate. And so since the season started in March this year, I'm going to play a little March medley of songs just as we have our final preparations. Thank you very much. Now, if you remember last year when I told you about playing for the baseball games, the times that you have to play, especially once the game is in progress, is about 30 seconds. Because that's about how long it takes for a foul ball to go out, the umpire to get a new ball in, warmed up, and then re-throw that ball. And so all other kinds of things, you need to kind of choose songs that you can clip, that you can have just nice little segments of it. And so it's a whole different style than if you're playing concerts or dances or things like that. So that's one thing, the way I'm playing the organ today, for you to think of it. And if you wonder why I'm doing it this way, that's exactly why. So we're in the first inning. Sometimes you need to really kind of do something like this, march, just to get the crowd excited. But sometimes you just need to do something, if it's like a really hot day in the summer and people are grouchy, it's just something beautiful and relaxing to get people, you know, just kind of relaxed and calm and cool. So here's a song like that. In Riverfront Stadium, there's always, even if it was hot sometimes, a really nice breeze. So this song is called The Breeze and I. Thank you very much. Isn't that a pretty little song? It's really, really simple. It would be fun for you to maybe learn to play it if you don't know it, but it just is I feel relaxed. I don't know about you. Okay, it's second inning now, and we have a scoreboard stumper. So this would be in letters on the scoreboard, and the question for today is, what player played 20 years for the Reds but never came up to bat? Ronnie Dale, the organist. Ronnie Dale's a great friend of Kathy's Happy Organs, and Ronnie's a big fixture, was a big fixture in Cincinnati, one of the great organists of Cincinnati. And for a number of years, 20 or more, he played at Crosley Field on a Hammond B organ, and that didn't have any of these kind of things on it. It was just straight organ. and he was able to do amazing things to give you a variety and sound of that. They're actually on Facebook or Instagram, I forget which, but a couple weeks ago, there's people remembering Crosley Field that have formed a group, and they had a picture of Ronnie on there. Some of you might have seen it sitting at the B3, and a couple of the songs that he played. So I thought in our second inning today, it might be fun to hear a couple of those songs. For example, he had an amazing wit, and Kathy, probably after this concert, could tell you all kinds of stories that I don't even know about. But one of the things, there was a player named Veda Pinson, who was, I think, center fielder. And so if Veda ever hit and scored a home run, Ronnie would play Show Me the Veda, Go Home. If somebody else hit a home run, not Veda, Ronnie played this song a lot for home runs. It's called Happy Days Are Here Again. And then sometimes in the game, when there's not much going on, but nothing specific comes to mind, you just need a little song you can play to kind of get people doing things. So let's do the Hokey Pokey. I mean, now if you want, we could continue that for a while. like when I did the beer barrel polka, I forgot I was going to do 100 bottles of beer on the wall, but I thought we have to be out by 4:30 for the game, so I wouldn't do that. Now, another long-term organist that you might have heard of, and in fact, if you look in the front over there to the left as you leave, there's a picture of three of us. Ronnie Dale is on the left, I am in the middle, and Jack Dahl, who was the long-term organist at Riverfront. He played probably when Riverfront opened until about 1986 when he and Marge crossed paths in a not so nice way, which is how I eventually ended up there. But anyway, so Ronnie would have played Show Me the Veda, Go Home. Jack Dahl was more of a jazz organist, and he would play Walkin' by Veda Back Home, a different song. Thank you very much. I'll tell you, Ronnie and Jack both, you don't need to ever hear any better organist than either one of those guys, and it's a thrill for me to be in the middle of them on that picture, I have to tell you. Okay, we're down to the third inning, and you know, the Reds have special events that they schedule, and a lot of it depends on people that call and say, you know, we want to buy so many number of tickets. So if there's anybody who buys over 100 tickets, they have the right to pick a day and name their event. Unless somebody buys 101 tickets, then they have that. But let's say it's Family Day. Okay, so it's Family Day at the ballpark, and here's probably what all the kids would want to hear. Baby Shark. That's the shark. Of course, we go through Mama and Daddy and Granddaddy, so we could play that one for a while too, but I'll just stop there. Because it's Family Day, there's one song that we should really consider today to be playing. It's also May, you know, the 4th day of May. So any of you who are fans of Darth Vader and everything, may the 4th be with you, okay? And so I thought, well, let's do a Star Wars baseball medley. And all the characters were there. There was Luke Basewalker, and there's Han's solo home run, and there's Jabba the Bunt, and we've heard about Veda Pinson already, so there's Darth Vader. Okay, that wasn't so funny. Do you know what the real Darth Vader's wife's name was? She's only appeared in the movie once. Did you ever see her? Her name was Ellie Vader. She provided an uplifting role in there. And of course, the Princess Leia Dolo, like that picture the Reds have now. And then we have the evil umpires. And their song in their movie, in fact, I think it was the second one, The Umpires Strike Back. Right. Yeah. So anyway, here's a Star Wars medley to honor May the 4th be with you. How many of you happened to see on Easter Sunday, which I believe was April the 20th, the Reds game where they scored 24 runs? Well, that was pretty amazing. 24 to 2, I think. I think it was the Marlins, wasn't it? Anyway, so I thought, so it's Easter Sunday. Those Reds are just hopping around those bases. So I thought we should have At the Hop to remember that one great game. I wish they would save some of those runs for some other games, but anyway. If anybody wants to dance, that's fine. how I get my exercise and maintain my stylish figure. Excuse me. Speaking of Easter and the Easter Bunny, do you know how the Easter Bunny stays cool? He uses a hair conditioner. Do you know what the favorite jewelry of the Easter Bunny is? 14 karat. Do you, do you know what you get when you cross the Easter Bunny with a shellfish? That would be the oyster bunny. And do you know what the rabbit says before saying grace? Let us pray. And my favorite, do you know why the Easter Bunny brings toilet paper to all his social gatherings? He was a party pooper. By the way, these are not copyrighted. You can feel free to use these at any of your social gatherings, unless you want to be invited back. Okay, it is Zoo Day. We're at the 5th inning now. And I've talked a lot about Shotzi, and I'll do it again for those who might not have heard the stories because they're pretty good. But Marge also had an elephant she sponsored named Shotzi. And there was one event, and I forget exactly what it was, but it was at her house. And so I was invited as a part of a staff, an organization. John Browdy, the announcer, was there. Glenn Sample was there. All the people up in the booth, Joe Marty. And so we're out at Marge's house in Indian Hill, and there's the elephant, just right out in the front yard, with all the things that elephants do in the front yard, right there in the front yard. But anyway, she was very generous with the zoo, and we're grateful for that. And sponsored Shotzi the elephant for all those number of years. So I thought we should have a number in the 5th inning in honor of Zoo Day and of Shotzi the elephant. Just out of curiosity, how many of you know the title of that song that I just played? Just a few? Wow, Baby Elephant Walk is what that was called. And there is the problem, and one of the reasons why I eventually retired. I played the organ from 87 until 99 at the end of it. And I realized that I was playing all these things I thought were pretty funny and hysterical, and no one had any idea what I was doing. Because they aged out of the songs. And of course that was always a problem, and still is. The players, want the latest rock song that they like, and rightly so. They should have that. And it doesn't always work on the organ, number one, and to learn that without, rock song without drums and vocals, and the way to access those very quickly, what you need to do, is very, very difficult to do. So bless those who are able to do that and doing that now. And I will sit at home and play the baby elephant and walk. I do want to remind you, and I know that several of you heard it, several times, but besides the elephant Shotzi, there was the dog Shotzi. And the big dog Shotzi was there for a number of years, and it was a nice, friendly dog actually, and people loved it, except the players didn't love it. Because what Marge did was she had the dog shaved and got haircuts for the dog, put the hair in little Ziploc bags, and for good luck, she would carry that with her and rub it on the players' chests. And the players were not amused at all. But since she paid the salary, a lot of people had dog hair from Shotzi, and I'm not sure it really brought them a lot of luck, but it might have been 1990, which is the year that they won the Series 4 straight. And I think I've told you before that Marge was so mad about that because she could have got one more game at concessions if it had gone to 5 games. And she said, honey, couldn't you all just stretch that out at one more game and we could have made all this extra money on the concessions. But anyway, that was a highlight of my career, was playing that World Series. Also the 88 All-Star game I got to play, which I've told you about, and also Tom Browning's game. I won't dwell on those, but if anyone wants to hear any more about that, I'd be glad to share with you some thoughts on it afterwards if you want to stop and say hi. But I will play the song that almost got me fired. And it's not Three Blonde Mice. Although Gretchen said to me on the way in, if I just would play even Three Blonde Mice, she would be thrilled that she was here, so. Gretchen? How'd I do? Was that okay? Are you thrilled now? That's the one song that you're actually banned from playing in the ballpark. There is a National League order which says you cannot play that and do anything that would incite something against the umpires in the game, or you could be removed from the game. So you don't play that song actually, but when Shotzi number 1 died and she got Shotzi number 2, the little puppy Shotzi, it was running around the bases and she loved that and the kids loved it, but the players didn't love that because they're trying to play baseball. And so anyway, bottom line, for those of you who haven't heard it, was the little dog was out running around and it stopped at second base and did a number 2 on the second base. And so, I mean, I am there, the organist is there to interpret the action and involve the fans in the game. So I have to remind everyone who has heard it before and who has not heard it. Here's what I played. Oh, where has my little dog gone? And after I played that, I mean, the fans were kind of snickering and all that kind of stuff. But it got picked up in the newspaper, and the sports writer wrote, organist accompanies Shotzi to second base. And I get this call on the phone. Honey, this is Marge. Don't ever play that song again or you're out of here. Don't make fun of my dog. We're here to keep the dog in the game, not get the dog kicked out of the game. Do you understand? Do you understand me? Yes, Mrs. Schott. Okay, don't let me ever hear that song again. So that was it with that song. Although when they showed pictures of Shotzi in the window, I might play this. How much is that doggy in the window? Let me say just a couple of things, and again, I want to make sure you realize that I had great respect for the good things that Marge did and for the benevolence that she shared. But she had some quirks about her. She would come into the room and look through the wastebasket and pull out all the pages of paper that had one side blank, turn them over, pat them down on the desk and say, honey, you haven't written on this side yet. You know, you could save us a lot of money so we can play these players, you know, pay the players. So that was one kind of funny thing she did. There was a story where there was some kind of an important meeting and she'd stopped at Buskin Bakery in Norwood and gotten a couple dozen donuts and forgot and left them in her car and they didn't use them. So she actually took the donuts back to the bakery and said, honey, I haven't used these. Can you take them? So she was thrifty about that. But my other story, and I'm not sure I've actually told this story here yet, but I've done 3 Reds events in Blue Ash. And the very first one was so neat. I don't know if you realize it, but up north of 275 and Reed Hartman, that area right there, they have recreated the old part of the scenario of the old Crosley Field. And they actually have seats from Crosley Field. They have some of the bleachers from Crosley Field. And they use it, I don't know if it's for industrial leagues or for youth baseball, but that's a nice park. And when they built that, probably back in 88, 89, they had a dedication of that and they had an old timers game. And Joe Nuxall was the coach of the home team, and then they had other players. Everybody who was an old player still able to play was there, and it was so neat to see these guys. But they brought an organ out there and brought me up from the park to play for that. So I got to do that. So that was one neat thing. Second thing is the story I'm about to tell you, where the volunteers who deliver Meals on Wheels, they were having a banquet to honor them. Marge was the speaker, and they called me and said, hey, as long as Marge is here, would you mind coming and giving us a few tunes to give the flavor of the park? I said, sure, I'll see you there. So I go out, get ready to do this, and people are gathering. I'm sitting at the table, and they have me sitting right next to Marge. She comes in, sits down, and looks over at me, and she had maybe some refreshment before she came. She looked over at me and she says, well, hello, honey, what do you do? And I said, well, Marge, I play the organ. She said, oh, God. She said, we have this guy at the ballpark that plays the organ. And all he ever does is duh, 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 duh. And she said, I sure hope, honey, you don't play that. I said, oh, Marge. I said, I would never do that. So the banquet starts. We have our dinner, and before she speaks, they say, a little extra entertainment today. Before Marge speaks, the Reds' current organist, Rodney Barbour. She looks over and she says, oh God, honey, is that you? So I walk up to the organ and I go, and I do that. And I thought, I've just ended my career. But anyway, no one had heard her say that, so it wasn't funny, but everyone kind of went charge and all that and went on, and I never heard from her. I mean, so she probably didn't remember that day. But there are 2 songs, and I'll play them together here, that I always liked to play. Thank you. Of course, the first one of those was Margie, and the second was If I Only Had a Brain. So, I thought that was funny. You didn't laugh much at that. Okay, we're down to the sixth inning. We're getting ready to get in through the home stretch here, and in our sixth inning, it is going to be Animal Day at the ballpark. Animal Day. She had a lot of like Bark in the Park Day. There was Farmers Weekend, which was always lots of fun. We had lots of good farmer jokes and games and things that they did. That was pretty neat. But here's I love this because this is the only organ that I know that has a chicken in it. So. See, now I want to tell you, if you're worried about the price of eggs, all you need to do is buy one of these Lowry organs from Kathy. You got your own chicken. And just put the organ in the kitchen. And my wife is sitting back there, and she will tell you about the advantages of having an organ in the kitchen, which we do in our house. Simply because I bought the organ without measuring, and it was 2 inches too big to get in the room it was supposed to go into. There was the only room left we had to put it. But you know what? All you have to do is put a tablecloth over the back of it, put 2 bar stools there, and it just makes a wonderful addition to the kitchen, right, Sherry? Anyway, that does that. Okay, we're moving at the end of the sixth inning here, and the rivalry is getting intense, so we should have some songs about fighting or boxing or something. I suppose if you are a classical musician or want to do boxing in another way, you could do this. It's a different kind of box. Now, the rivalry got intense, and the other team is losing to the Reds now. The Reds are scoring, and they need to make a pitcher change. So if the other team is making a pitcher change, I guess I could kind of poke a little fun at them by doing something like this. kind of funny. Most of the time, I like the music to be real peppy, but there occasionally, if you sneak a song in like that, it can just add a little bit of relaxation and a little beauty. The idea of fast and slow and down and up and all these opposites is a real thing in music that composers of all kinds of music make use of to make the music really interesting. And if you play something always on exactly the same sound, it can get a little bit tedious sometimes. The problem with the ballpark organ is, again, this organ is neat because it has some of these presets that you can just make the changes really quick if you remember where you put the change. The old B3 like Ronnie played, he really had to work to make quick changes so that the organ had a little bit of variety. But most people aren't really listening for that variety, but if you give it to them, I think they know it, okay? Well, we're down to the 7th inning. I think we should have a 7th inning stretch. I'll invite you to stand if you're able again, and let's just Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Now the song said to buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I'm going to give you some peanuts here for free. Kathy, what's our time looking like?
Okay, you got time for prizes?
You want to do some prizes now?
Yeah.
Let's do the prizes and then have a couple more things to end with.
Okay, here we go. We gotta have prizes. We got prizes. Okay. All right, see, this is why you have to sign it. All right, here we go. Let's go.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, pull one. I've got 11 prizes, I think. Let's go, here we go. I should have had 7 because this is the 7th store. Okay, Pat Russell. Okay, all right, here we go. Now look, this is the ball game. You get a ball. There we go. All right, can you catch?
Maybe.
Close. All right, okay, here we go. That was, at least I didn't hit anybody, I don't think. All right. Okay, Joe Collins. Okay, Joe Collins. All right, you ready? Come on, see if you have better catch. All right, okay, all right. Okay, pull another one. Here we go. Let's see. It's a blank.
A blank?
A blank. All right, here we go. Oh, Dan, here we go, Dan. Where is Dan? Okay. Oh, Dan, this is okay, here we go. He doesn't trust me. He knows, he takes lessons. He doesn't trust me. Catch it, Dan. Here we go. All right. There we go. Okay, we got Ethel?
There, right here.
Oh, okay, Ethel. All right, Ethel. Okay, here we go. You get a plaque.
Ready to catch.
No, no, you get a clapper. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, let's get, let's
Another one?
Yeah, let's give somebody the finger. Oh, Barbara Powell. All right, you always need an extra finger when you play the piano. That's it. What's this one? Here we go. Okay, here we go. Oh, Sherry. Here we go. Sherry Smith. Where's Sherry? Okay, Sherry. Okay, you got a book, so you can give it to Wyatt to see that he plays some new songs. You have this one, Wyatt?
No.
All right, he does now. All right. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go.
Expect to hear that next.
Okay, yes, okay. Well, Wyatt can't come back to classes till after school's out. He's got how many days left?
About 10.
10, yes, 10. He substitute teaches. All right. Jane Reichschmidt. Okay, all right. Okay, you get a bracelet. It says play ball. Here we go. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, let's get to another one. We got what, 4 more, 3 more. I don't know.
3 more?
Oh, Connie Ream. Connie Ream. All right, Connie Ream. Where's Connie? Oh, right in front of me. Okay, hits from the musicals. Okay, so Tom, you gotta play those.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Right, it's your book.
All right. Oh, Cindy Brody. Where's Cindy? Okay, Cindy, this is yours. Love songs from the movie. All right, you can sing. All right, here we go. And this is what we have 2 more. Okay. Where is it? Oh, what is it?
Doctor.
I can't read it.
A doctor.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You know the joke on Facebook about they have these 2 doctors on this desert island and they can't, they try to arrange the coconuts and nobody can read it. Okay. I know, this is either Georgina, Georgina. We'll call it Georgina. There you go. This is the sound of music. It's easy play, so you can have no problem with that. There you go. I guess, yeah. Okay,
one?
last one. Okay, here you go. Aha! Christine! Where's Christine? She was here. Where? There, come on, Christine! Barry Manilow. All right, okay. Christine, okay, now let's see. The problem with some of, Barry Manilow said some Christine might not remember Barry Manilow. Barry Manilow, all right, okay. Okay, all right. Now the rest of you have to come to the next one in order to get one of the prizes.
Save those.
Okay. Are we ready for our
Okay,
8th and 9th
so we
inning?
have the 2 last innings right now.
Okay, all right. Okay, we
I was
gotta
gonna
win
tell
this
you.
ball game. We gotta win this ball game.
When I did send in the clowns a minute ago, I was going to tell you about these 2 cannibals that had captured a clown. And they were fixing the dinner, and the one looked at the other one and said, "Does this taste funny to you?" Okay, there's one. And there's 2 cannibals, and they captured this missionary, and they put him in a pot with his cassock and everything, and started boiling him. And the head cannibal came over and looked to see what was going on. He said, "Are you guys crazy? You can't do that. This is a fryer."
Better.
Okay, we're down to the 8th inning. The Reds need just a little push to get through, and I thought we'd go through some of our clapping things. So if you would join me, here's a kind of to get things started. Here's one a little faster. from the Addams Family. I wanted to leave you in the lurch. And then if it's back to the Animals Day, if it is this, or if it's the Kentucky Derby, oh, boo. Really need some excitement. Clap, 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 clap. Okay. Anyway, you can use them in different tempos, start, stop, all those kind of things. And that's the idea is, I think I've told you before, but most people would rather actually be playing baseball than watching baseball. Right. So when you're watching baseball, there's a lot of dead time there, and the organist can make that game go a lot quicker and a lot more fun for you if they do some of these clapping things occasionally and songs and trying to guess the funny titles and all that. So that is the way I play a Reds baseball game. So I hope that reminds you that a little bit. I hope we had some French things this year. And I think we should go out with Beethoven. A little bit of his Ode to Joy, which is kind of the universal song. It works anywhere, any place, anything. Beethoven, by the way, originally composed this in 4 flats. He moved 3 times. Thank you very much. As you begin to leave, and just make sure you take time to browse through the store, look at these. These are wonderful instruments, wonderful prices. Lots of joy could be in your home this week if you would consider one of these. But I'll play you out. This is like the postlude at a church, so it's music you're supposed to talk over, okay? But thank you for coming. I've loved playing for you. I hope you had a good time.
This, and that wasn't thrilled with it, you know. We try. That can't be anybody. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you. Okay, and for those, just, you know, if you do decide that you have to have one of these to take home, George will deliver it tonight, right, George?
By 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. All right. Okay.
Right after dinner.
Okay. Thanks for coming, and tell all your friends about the new store.
Oh, thank you so much.
I needed that. Let me get you. Help me out.
You get sweaty. What's your step?
This is a moment in time, and I've got news for you. I brought my own Engelberg with me.
Build that. Wish we had the money Engelberg paid on this one. A few million. It's a great book.
This moment in time, the right time of day. How I love being here and watching my life at play. My love in your eyes is lighting the way. And the feelings you choose have colors of blues and greens. This trip into time, this timeless embrace, like a kid in a store, I always want more to taste. And no matter what comes, I know the sun is gonna shine because of you and me. There'll be this moment in time.
Together.
The one that paid the money.
Please release me, let me go, for I don't love you anymore. To waste our lives would be a sin. So release me and let me alone. For I have found a new dear, and I will always want her near. Her lips are warm while yours are cold. Release me, my darling, let me go. Release me and let me go.
Okay,
Should we do
George.
something fun? One of my funniest stories with Jerry, he was moving or something, and he had a big old vault one, a 3 manual. It was their D series,
Okay.
and it didn't work anymore, and he just wanted to get rid of it. So the movers had finished all the moving, and he said, "I'll tell you what, guys," he said, "let me slip you each a 20. And you take this organ and just dump it somewhere. I don't care where you dump it, just dump it." And they said, "Okay, we'll do that."
Oh, God.
So about 2 days later, he gets this phone call. "Jerry, you're going to want to see this." And in front of one of the great big beautiful houses in Indian Hill, they dumped that organ right on the street, right beside the house.
Probably with a Jerry Dolsky label on it.
Yeah, classic organ label. And so he called and said, What are you guys thinking?" They said, "You said dump it anywhere," so we did. So it cost him like another $500 to get it moved.